time with emergency snappers, and those kids just having somebody who, hey, they want to swing by the office, say hi, watch the reps in practice. I mean, they got somebody that's just dedicated to what they're doing to really kind of fine-tune, their craft.
How's the progress been in the return game?
It's been good. We got a plethora of guys that we're trying to figure out. Obviously K-Law and Germ are the two with the heavy in-game experience, but got a lot of guys with the ability to make a difference. So still across the T's, dot and I's, making sure we cover all the situations, and then ultimately putting the guy back that we feel the most confident in the decision-making processes.
Coaches talked about Nealon getting a scholarship. What was that moment for you in the room, and what was that moment? What was that like?
It was cool. I've been a part of that a couple times in my career. I knew about it for about a week beforehand. So I'm like biting my lip. But he's been phenomenal since I've been here. Leader of the group, hardworking, humble kid, and that's what college football is supposed to be. Like, you show up, you work, you're not needy. You just do your job, yes sir, no sir, and then it played out for him how it's supposed to. So that was exciting to watch.
After the scrimmage, Coach talked about trying to rotate in some younger guys at return man, possibly. Who are some of those guys that have shown potential in that?
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood's gotten a lot of reps. Cole Adam, Bach, King Mac, Germ, obviously, and K-Law have been the most. Rico Scott's gotten some reps. I mean, we're trying a lot of guys, even if it's not for this immediate season. Maybe it's week 5, you get dinged, and then even for the future. But anybody who wants to raise their hand, we're giving them a good old college try, and they might be fired in a day. They might make it a little longer, but we're getting to work.
What have you seen out of Graham and his transition from a little smaller program to Alabama?
Well, it's kind of cool because, I was at Eastern Michigan. I played against him not long ago. So for him and the maturity he has of realizing, like, for kickers it's different, right? Like, the football is, 13 pounds is what it is. Little different shape off of what the quarterback likes, but for the most part, it's the same thing. Uprights are the same, so him having that maturity of, like, he's made big kicks, he's been in the moment, and his understanding of, like, nothing's changed. There's a few more people in the stands, but keeping that mindset of, hey, I've been there, I've done it, has been fun to watch.
How could someone who was named the best in their position, like Graham last season, improve on what he did last year?
So, this fall camp, just working on some foot placement stuff, ball contact, getting through it. A lot of boring specialist talk here, right? But golf-wise, I'm a slice guy, right? My hands are behind, or my hips are ahead, or whatever it is. So just kind of tweaking, club placement, our foot, and our timing on things. But like you said, he's senior. He's been there. He's done it. And we're just kind of fine-tuning some little odds and ends.
Have you had some time to golf in the off-season? Have taken the group out for
we didn't go as a group. I started for the first time. Actually bought my first pair of clubs. So I'm all in. I'm still terrible, but I'm better now than I was in June. There's no doubt about that.
How consistent have Graham and Burnett both been throughout this camp?
Very, very consistent. I mean, James, when I first got here, struggled in spring. I was kind of like, man, this guy's a little overrated. But, I was dealing with some things and just started kicking. But, this fall camp, I mean, he's putting the ball where it's supposed to be. It's high. We're not out kicking our coverage. It's been really great in the pooch punt, short field stuff. That was an emphasis we had this fall, making sure we're not hitting touchbacks. We're changing the game for the defense. And then Graham's, not going to wow you. Like, you're not sitting there in like the Corvette when you go to buy a car, but, the ball goes straight, and he makes them. So it's been a fun group.
Coach mentioned with the kicking, being able to get into Bryant Denny and kicking there, obviously it's going to be different with fans, but how does that change things, whether it's, kind of depth perception, things like that, maybe some of the nuances?
The depth perception is the big deal, and just landmarks. So when you go to a place, you're getting a feel for, like, hey, right hash 30-yard line, where am I aiming at? Left hash 25, like in the stadium, what can I get my eyes to? What's my track? What's my ball do there? And then obviously trying to find, hey, it's a windy day, so now let's go over there and see how that affects the ball movement. But we probably kicked over there, I mean, probably conservatively 16 times or so, maybe more than that, since the start of the summer. So making sure we feel comfortable when we get there. And, he's a senior, first year here, so kind of playing catch up, so it is his home environment, not a road game.
What would you say kind of the high end of Graham's range is?
I mean, he's made it 52s in games before, so he's definitely got that. So obviously conditions can always add to that or take it away a little bit, but he's done it.
How aware do you kind of make sure the offense is of what yard line and things you're trying to get to?
So pre-game we go through our little routine, and then I'll tell Coach DeBoer and Coach Sheridan, like, hey, feel great from the 30-yard line. hey, end of half to win the game, 52 yards. Going this way, hey, we're going the other way, feel great. 32-yard line, first quarter, first kick, like we're gonna make it. Hey, 37 into half, desperation, like we got a chance. And then let those guys make their decisions off of that information.
For a guy who has been, so consistent, what do you notice Graham does, maybe his habits, routines to kind of keep that consistency? Obviously, kicking is a very mental thing. I mean, does he have any practices that he does to make sure it's, like you said, straight and tried and true every time?
Yeah, I think he's just confidence in what he's doing.
Yeah.
I preach to our guys all the time, like, for what we do, the ball's in the air 90% of the time. Like for a kicker, like you literally touch it a split of a second. So you're going to catch gusts, winds are going to affect it, like things are going to happen. But just, hey, I know when I'm kicking well, I'm doing these 3 things and staying true to that and believing in it. And I think for him, the success he's had is like he know who he is body mechanically. He's confident in that. And if something's not perfect, he doesn't freak out in the heat of the moment. Like he just stays true to what has got him to this point.
Thanks, Coach.